150,000 workers, or just over 4% of the workforce, have had their salaries cut by more than 25% since mid-March. Manpower Minister Josephine Teo says the pay cuts were made by more than 4,000 companies who had to alert the ministry. And the situation could get worse. Mrs. Teo says retrenchments could spike after the circuit breaker as its economic effects are more clearly seen.
The mismatch is in terms of timing, meaning that the job seekers are eager to get into a job, but employers are not ready to hire because of the low visibility. That is the big mismatch that will happen during this time, very abnormal times. The second, and this is what occupies a lot of our mind and our attention, is the mismatch in the scale. You are going to have many more job seekers than jobs available, because this is an unprecedented. You've never seen a pandemic hit us like that.
Mrs. Teo says in March there were 71 jobs for every 100 job seekers. The ratio was 84 to 100 at the end of last year. The government says it's created immediate job vacancies in COVID-19 related roles like swabbers and safe management officers. It's also accelerated planned hiring. Another approach, Mrs. Teo says, is to ramp up traineeships, which are expected to prime people with experience and get them ready for the job market when it recovers. 25,000 positions are expected to be created this year. Companies are also being encouraged to woo not just fresh grads, but mid-career professionals as well.
The challenge is, of course, the work has to be meaningful. Otherwise, the job seekers, especially if they are mid-careers, they'll say, I'm not interested. I'd rather do something else with my time. And the job seekers will need to be paid a reasonable amount. Maybe not the same as the kind of salaries that they used to get, but it has to be reasonable. Then the companies will have to see themselves getting some value out of it.
Employers have been told to keep working from home as a default for staff, even after Singapore begins to lift its circuit breaker measures from June 2nd. The Manpower Ministry says it will be conducting checks, and businesses may have to shut if employees are found not working from home when it's possible for them to do so, or if they are found not adhering to safe management measures. The advisory gave extensive guidelines for such measures. These include limited socializing among employees in the first 2 phases of the economy's reopening. Those who are unwell with COVID-like symptoms must also provide employers with a record of the diagnosis and also the results of any tests for COVID-19.
If there are risks at the work environment that the employee sees, then I think employers should look at it and address it and not be too quick to dismiss it. Sometimes the employees, because of the nature of their work, they see things that bosses may not have an opportunity to see. So I think that in such a situation, we'd really like to appeal to the employers to keep their listening ears open, hear what the employees have to say, and help them to overcome their valid concerns.